Back in the ancient days of gaming, game creators could not depend on either fancy graphics or mainstream notoriety to succeed. No, back in the days it was up to the developers, and as much the writers, to innovate around limited technology. Writing was where the Final Fantasy series shined, and the pinnacle of Final Fantasy storytelling came with Final Fantasy VI, called Final Fantasy III when it was released in the US. FF6 was based loosely on the plot of Star Wars. There's an evil empire, a resistance, a larger-than-life villain, and a superpower that both sides possess in limited quantities. But FF6 achieved a richness to its characters unmatched nearly anywhere, and in a comparatively short amount of space. Most of the game is not about exploring the characters, but where it is, it puts forth the kind of writing I wish were in every movie. I'll give you their secret recipe up front. Nearly every hero in the story has three things. First, a personality that encapsulates who and what they are. Second, their own musical theme to match their personality and convey the vibe that they give off. And third, a tragic past that they overcome on their journey to save the world. For this video, I will be using the original SNES English translation. Gaw. Gaw is my favorite story from Final Fantasy VI. He has the sweetness of a boy paired with the strength of a behemoth. In battle, he does something all kids do. He pretends to be one of the creatures he admires. Gaw's theme is sad, sweet, and indicative of the tragedy of his existence. The boy grows up among monsters. He meets Sabin and Cyan when checking up on them, indicating he is anything but a monster himself. Later, when Sabin and Cyan lure the boy using dried meat, he immediately befriends them. He says his name is Gaw, which is Japanese onomatopoeia for growl. Gaw wrestles with Sabin and exhausts him, something incredible given Sabin is a martial arts master 3 times his size. But the pinnacle of Gaw's story comes in the world of Ruin, when the party locates Gaw's father, who is something of a loon. Sabin and the others prepare Gaw for the reunion by teaching him manners and dressing him up in the suit. Like every kid, Gaw doesn't catch on to the manners part. Sabin confronts the old man about having a son. The old man tells the horrible story of a bad dream he had once, where this thing wouldn't stop crying until he threw it into the veldt, and a huge horrible monster appeared, and presumably ate it. Sabin wants to crack the man's skull at that point, but Gaw stops Sabin and goes outside. Gaw says he is happy his father is alive. This scene reveals 2 amazing things about Gaw. First, that he could forgive something so unforgivable without much effort indicates he has a soul far removed from his monstrous origins. Second, something greater is watching over Gaw. Where he should have been eaten by the monster that his father saw in the veldt, he survived, and went on to be a warm and powerful companion to the returners. Cyan Geramond. Cyan is blue for a reason. He's the supreme warrior of supreme character who lost everything. His music is about nobility, calm, and a great purpose, but like Gaw's theme, it has distinct opening notes of sadness. Cyan is introduced when the Empire attacks Doma. He calmly walks outside, kills the Empire's general, and goes back inside as if nothing happened. But when Kefka poisons the water supply, Cyan watches his king die, and then finds his wife and child dead. It gets worse. After joining the returners to get revenge on the Empire, he ends up on a ghost train, and after fighting his way off the train, he sees the train carrying the souls of his son and wife into the afterlife. He loves them so much that he runs after the train, wishing he could join them. An easy death wasn't Cyan's destiny, and the train leaves him behind. He helps the returners take down the Empire, remaining endlessly polite even toward Celeste, who was an Empire general. After the apocalypse, he spends his time trying to guard a young woman from experiencing the pain of losing her lover. Cyan writes her love letters, pretending to be her now-past love. Cyan eventually tells the young woman the truth. Then he faces his own truth at the ruins of Doma. But all of his pain returns, and the demon Rex Soul tries to eat his soul. His friends rescue him, and he has a brief reunion with his wife and child. He insists that he failed them and is worthless. "I'm a man with no honor," he says, to which his wife replies, "No, you have entirely too much." Cyan forgives himself, casts out the pain, and becomes absolutely lethal in the service of good. Sabin and Edgar Figaro. The Figaro twins were heirs to the throne of Figaro. When they were teenagers, the Empire poisoned their father. Although their father had asked them to rule together, both Sabin and Edgar craved freedom and hated the politics of being king. But Edgar loved his brothers so much that he proposed the throne be decided with a coin toss. He used a double-sided coin to ensure that Sabin won his freedom, and never told him. Then he spent years faking an alliance with the Empire to keep his people safe, until the time was right to fight back. That's character. As for Sabin, he's always cheerful. He's got a temper, but he never quits. When Celeste finds him holding up a collapsing house by himself to give the people inside time to escape, she confesses her wonder that he is alive. To which he responds, "You think a minor thing like the end of the world was gonna do me in?" He's all warrior. Tara Branford. If Final Fantasy VI has a protagonist, it's Tara Branford, and hence her musical theme is the melody that links all the others. Born of a human and an Esper, and then raised as a weapon by a soulless, power-obsessed empire, Terra's fundamental conflict is that she knows her life is missing something huge. Terra's quest to find this missing piece reveals the central theme of Final Fantasy VI. Terra helps the Returners fight the Empire. Without her, they would have lost the war. Later she discovers her mixed heritage, a mother who escaped from the endless wars of men, and an Esper father. Espers were people who got too close to the original goddesses of the world, so in a sense Terra is half human and half angel. Terra realizes that what she is missing is love. She starts with questions about the nature of love, starting with General Leo, who confesses his shame at not stopping the Empire from using her as a weapon. She also speaks to Shadow, who tells her he has killed his emotions, and to look within for answers. While both Leo and Shadow are perfectly truthful, they also represent two characters who abandon love in pursuit of something easier, a trial that Terra will later go through. Nothing satisfies Terra's thirst for love until she becomes matriarch of an orphanage in the world of Ruin, and even then it's not complete. That is, until she realizes that only she can protect both the children and her friends from the demon Funbaba, and greater yet, from Kefka's inevitable annihilation of all life. It's an awakening more real than the one Terra experiences several times toward the beginning of the game. The earlier awakenings have a bluesy, contemplative music. This one is the epiphany that love requires a champion who defends what is good. Leo failed to answer the call. Shadow seeks redemption for his past crimes, but Terra fights. She is FF6's champion. Shadow. Edgar says of Shadow that he would slit his mama's throat for a nickel. Shadow is a mercenary assassin with a guard dog named Interceptor. He says little, costs a fortune to hire, and leaves the party on a whim. But he's absolutely lethal in battle. His music plays in 6/8 time and sounds like the theme of a cold-blooded character from a spaghetti western. Given his cold nature, Shadow doesn't seem to belong with the heroes. If you head to the inn with Shadow, you get to experience his past through his nightmares. Shadow was previously Clyde, a train robber. His partner Barum got wounded and asked Clyde to kill him instead of leaving him for the authorities, but Clyde couldn't do it, so he fled to Thamasa, where he married and fathered a baby girl, the hero Realm Aroni. Clyde's wife died and the law was seemingly catching up to him, so once again he fled. While he was presumably crushed with guilt, he made himself the cold-blooded killer Shadow and made a career as a masked assassin, one who flees well before he has to shoulder responsibility for anything. But deep down he still cares, because he saves Realm from a house fire. Later he struggles with Kefka to prevent the apocalypse, trying to push the goddess statues back in place before they awaken. After being recruited again in the Dark World, Shadow helps take down Kefka. But then, having seemingly redeemed himself, and just when you would expect him to reunite with Realm, Shadow chooses to die. He tells Interceptor to go with Realm. He stays behind in the collapsing tower. The last thing he does is call out to Barum. Strago Magus and Realm Aroni. Strago and Realm are grandfather and granddaughter, and their relationship fits. Strago treats Realm with kid gloves. Realm is mouthy and a little spoiled, but it's clear that she adores Strago for being her guardian. Realm's musical theme is about the wonder, beauty, and promise of a girl. It also has notes of sadness, and we'll get to why. Realm is the child of Shadow, but she has no idea. Shadow's dog Interceptor, who seems to love nobody but Shadow, is instantly protective of Realm, and everybody seems to assume it's because she's a lovable kid. Everybody but Shadow and Strago, that is. The clues that Shadow is Realm's dad are subtle enough, with the best one being a relic that only he and Realm can wear. It has the description, "Departed mom's love protects against fatal magic attacks." The tragedy is that the woman who was Realm's mommy and Strago's little girl is dead, and then the father abandoned them. So as an old man, Strago must raise Realm, who reminds him of his little girl and his daughter's absentee husband. But he embraces the role with more love than can be imagined, putting up with Realm's genius and attitude and following her into battle as she refuses to be left out. Toward the end of the game, she coins the awesome phrase, "Let's do it, let's go get that madman." And they do. But after that, Realm puts aside the mouthiness for just a moment to reveal how special her grandfather is to her. She wants to paint his portrait and immortalize him in the heavenly light that colors her world. Locke Cole and Celeste Share. Locke Cole is the epitome of chivalrous heroism. He knows when to be gentle and when to be ferocious. His music is a swashbuckling overture. But he lost the love of his life twice. First to amnesia when she fell, saving his life, and then to death when the Empire sacked his hometown. Locke had Rachel preserved by a crazy mortician so he could scour the ruins of the world, searching for a way to bring her back. Celeste Share is a genetically engineered, battle-raised general of the Empire. But after a few victorious campaigns, she decides she's had enough of oppressing innocent people and refuses to serve. She is imprisoned but soon rescued by Locke, who gives her a chance to be something better. There's a tension between the two characters, as is natural with every unrequited romance. That tension manifests in one of gaming's most epic moments, the legendary opera scene. Celeste must pretend to be an opera singer to bait Setzer Gabbiani and help the hero steal his airship. The opera scene was innovative for its time, but I think what's going on behind the curtain of the lovers' hearts is the true wonder of the scene. Celeste isn't just singing a love ballad, she's singing her true desires. Celeste was raised to be a killing machine, but what she really wants is to be rescued by love. Now, before anybody shouts sexist at their screen and clicks away, let's remember that Celeste is one of the 2 toughest characters in the game, alongside Tara Branford. And let's remember that when the world is going to pieces, it's Celeste who redeems her suicide attempt by reuniting the heroes and organizing them to save the world from Kefka. Celeste watches Locke revive Rachel, who departs forever after telling Locke to live free and love well. Celeste waits for Locke. After saving the world, they're back into the rescuing act. But as is true of all romantic love, there's no doubt that Celeste has rescued Locke just as much as he has rescued her. Conclusion. If any Final Fantasy deserves a remake, it's FF6. I say keep the script the same as on SNES, and either have Uematsu or TPR do the music. Soapbox over. What do you think? Did I miss a character? Is there a game with better characters? I would love to find out more in the comments. If you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. If you really like it, please share it. And if you like it more than that, please consider a small donation over Patreon. Thanks for watching.